What is going on, everybody? I hope you're having a fantastic morning. I might be whispering because it is 6:37 right now. We are headed to the LA Auto Show. Woo! Because she got me that for my birthday, so we're gonna be doing a lot of footage, a lot of coverage, so thank you, sweetie, I appreciate that. I even bought a new camera just for this purpose, so hopefully it works out well. I'll keep you guys updated, but let's head from SLC to LA right now. All right, just made it to the LA Auto Show. It's right here. So let's head that way. Crazy. It's
so exciting.
So many cool cars. We're repping our Swayze apparel. That's right. Awesome. So it's really exciting. A lot of people here. Yeah, as you can see, it's very packed, but a lot of cool cars here so far. What is happening, my friends? Now, I am going to be doing a voiceover because it was extremely loud at the LA Auto Show and I wasn't able to talk about all of the cool features of the vehicles just because it was way too crowded, way too many people, and you guys would not be able to hear me. So I'm going to be doing a voiceover of all of the cool cars that I recorded. So let's get started. But before I do that, let me know what you guys think of this Swayze apparel. If you guys would be interested in some of this merch, definitely let me know in the comments below because I could definitely order some stuff for you guys, but keep me posted on that. So let's get started. Audi was definitely flexing its muscles at the LA Auto Show. It introduced the RSQ8, which is the first RS SUV from Audi here in the US. It has a 590 foot-pound of torque and 592 horsepower engine that can do 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, and it's just stunning in this green color. Definitely a beautiful car at the show. Audi was also flexing with its 2020 RS6 Avant. You guys have probably seen this. It's, I think, the first Avant to come to the US, especially in the RS variant. It's a 4-liter V8 that produces 591 horsepower, has an 8-speed auto, and can do 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. It is definitely a beautiful car, and I think with how the trend is going towards SUVs, it's going to be a pretty big seller amongst people who can afford vehicles in this price range. Genesis also showed up and made a big debut with its entirely redesigned Genesis G90. It will continue to have the same two trims that the current outgoing G90 have. It's a 3.3 liter V6 that produces 365 horsepower, and then there's also going to be a 5 liter 420 horsepower V8. Rear wheel drive is standard, and then all wheel drive is optional, which will have 8-speed automatic transmission. I think the interior is better than the exterior in my opinion. I like the front. I don't love the rear tail lights. I think they're a little bit old school looking. Interior is probably just as nice as the current outgoing Genesis. I think it'll sell pretty well, but I don't know if it's really that much different than its competition aside from its price range. Genesis also had the G70 and the G80 there as well. No real changes to those vehicles. They're pretty much the same. Those are also very good, stunning vehicles, but I think everybody is waiting for Genesis to introduce its SUV, which is going to differentiate from a lot of different competitors because that's where everybody's going. Lincoln had a pretty big show up at the LA Auto Show. They had a pretty good new product offering. We have the Corsair here, which replaces the outgoing MKC, and it's going to be pretty much the underpinnings of the car is the Ford Escape, the new generation Ford Escape. Its standard price starts at $36,940, and it's equipped with a 2-liter, 250 horsepower, 270 pound-feet of torque Turbo 4. You can also opt for the 295 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque, 2.3-liter turbo inline 4, and 0 to 60 for both models is somewhere around 6 seconds. I think it's a good-looking SUV. I think it will attract a lot of buyers. It seems like Lincoln has been doing a better job than Cadillac in terms of attracting the younger market. Cadillac has been struggling with that, and we'll see some of the Cadillac vehicles in the next few clips. But I really like the interior of the Lincoln. I think they're stepping in the right direction. They're not just a transplant of Ford products, but I think they're making it more luxurious, and I like where they're going with it. And the Corsair is definitely an example of that. Then we had the Lincoln Continental with the suicide doors. Now, if you remember, they kind of introduced a limited release version of this vehicle probably a few years ago. I think it was last year or the year before. And now I think they're kind of reintroducing it as a limited edition that you can purchase. But it's all pretty cool to see, like suicide doors on a Lincoln Continental. Then you had, of course, the Infiniti Q60 Project Black S for like the 10th time. They introduced it in 2017. I'm a little annoyed that they keep teasing this car and they haven't actually released the new model. It hasn't come out yet, and they're talking about potentially making it. It's going to have a hybrid powertrain producing 563 horsepower, 0 to 60 less than 4 seconds, but we'll see what happens. Infiniti also showed off its QS Inspiration concept, which is a sports sedan SUV coupe that's supposed to kind of show the future design and direction of Infiniti. And honestly, I think it was a great looking car. I really like the white color fit really well. I really like the Infiniti backlight. The headlights and the taillights look really cool. And of course, the coolest feature was the suicide doors. You can't go wrong with that. A very futuristic cabin. In general, electric cars were dominating the LA Auto Show in terms of the new introduced models. And so this was an electric vehicle, and I think I could see it coming into production pretty soon. You also had, the first time for me to see at least, the GLB SUV. It's a pretty cool looking SUV. I think it will attract a lot of buyers, especially because it has a more of a boxier look as compared to the GLC. This was the first time I've seen one in person, first time I sat in one. The interior is pretty much an A-Class or a CLA. It's a little bit bigger, of course, on the inside because it has the option for 3 rows. I don't know how you'd fit 3 rows in there, but it does have that option. And a nice interior, especially at the price point that they're aiming at. I think it's going to attract a lot of buyers. Nothing particularly new there. Like I said, LA had a lot of electric vehicles, and that's no exception with the Mercedes EQC 400. It's going to come with an 80 kilowatt lithium ion battery and dual electric motors, and delivers 402 horsepower to all 4 wheels. And Mercedes claims you can charge it from 10 to 80% in just 40 minutes, and 0 to 60 is around 4.8 seconds. I think this is a big competitor to the Audi e-tron, which I'll talk about later. Mercedes also kind of had this cool concept car, which looked like one of their older cars back from the 1900s when they first started making vehicles. Then Mercedes showed off, these were its big debuts, the GLS and the GLE 63, which are 603 horsepower, 625 pound-feet of torque SUVs that can do 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds, which is ridiculous. Lexus also showed off its LF30 concept, which is reported to have 536 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque, and it's just supposed to be a car that's going to be introduced in sometime around 2030, according to Lexus. Alfa Romeo had its Tonale concept, Concept, which will actually be turning into a production SUV coming out pretty soon. It's supposed to be a plug-in hybrid powertrain, so that will be, I think, one of the first for Alfa Romeo. Very cool to see there. There was Lexus's LC 500 convertible, which carried the same powertrain but just has the convertible option. BMW didn't have particularly anything new. There's always the i8, which is a beautiful car, and then they also showed off one of their concept cars. Didn't have too many details on that, but not too many introductions for BMW. Cadillac showed off its CT4-V. Now, if you recall, it's pretty much the replacement to the ATS vehicle. The CT4-V will have a 320 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque engine, mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. The interior is nice. I just don't know if it's enough to sway people going from like Mercedes or BMW or Audi all the way to Cadillac. I don't know if it's enough. Acura showed off its Type S concept, which is a really cool looking car, and I think it is the design of the future for Acura, which I'm looking forward to. Chevy showed off its Trailblazer, which is, you know, the old school 2000s Trailblazer is gone, and this is the new compact vehicle. I think it'll be a good competitor. And obviously, the Chevy Corvette was, for me, the highlight of the show. Here they had the Corvette convertible, and they had the coupe as well. And really, it's just a stunning and beautiful car. Honestly, in person, it looked very similar to what I saw in photos. Proportion-wise is similar. I mean, there's so many photos out there nowadays of this car that it's kind of hard to be surprised by it. But it's still a very beautiful car, and honestly, I could see myself driving this car. We'll see what the price point comes in at. I know they start at just under $60,000, but I think it'll be hard to find one in that price range. But the car is just beautiful. I mean, especially in this blue color. It was stunning. I really like the blue interior. This was the convertible version, so it had the open roof style, which I really like. And really, there's tons of info on this car I've covered before. Jaguar had the I-Pace, which is not a new vehicle, but it was the first time I sat in one. Has a 90 kilowatt battery and has a range of around 300 miles with a 0 to 60 in around mid 4-second range. So it's a little bit quicker than the e-tron and the Mercedes EQC. Land Rover showed off its Defender, which was the first time I saw it in person. And it's a pretty cool looking car. I definitely think it's gonna sell well. You definitely see a big trend of big SUVs, and you also see electric cars at the LA Auto Show. The Defender was not an exception to that, although it is a gas-powered vehicle. You're gonna have 3 different models. First off, you have the 110 First Edition, which is a limited production model. You're gonna have the 110 regular, which is just the 4-door model, and then you have the 90, which is the 2-door model. The engine choices will include a 3-liter inline 6 and a 2-liter 4-cylinder. It can produce around 296 horsepower. I really like the styling. It's pretty much just an expensive Jeep. I think the starting price for this vehicle is around $49,000 if I'm not mistaken, and then it can go upwards, of course, especially if you get the First Edition. There was plenty of Supras to choose from in this LA Auto Show, including this throwback model, which had the MK4 styled headlights and taillights. I really think the Supra is growing on me. I like the looks of it, and it was cool to see a lot of them there. VW also teased the ID Space Vision concept, which is a 300-mile range electric wagon that may actually hit production in 2021 or 2022. Toyota unveiled the first plug-in hybrid RAV4 Prime that will produce 302 horsepower and be able to travel from 0 to 60 in about 5.8 seconds, which is pretty quick for an SUV. Hyundai showed off its 2020 Hyundai Sonata, which is a great looking car in my opinion. I think it puts up a lot of competition towards the Camrys and the Accords out there. It comes with a 2.5 liter inline 4, and then the limited SEL will have a 1.6 liter turbo 4-cylinder. Interior is really nice, exterior is nice. I think bang for the buck, and the warranty that you get with these vehicles is probably one of the best ones in the market right now. I think that Camry and Accord may be lacking with this new 2020 Sonata. Next up is my favorite car, concept car of the entire show. It's the Karma SC1 and the Karma SC2. Now, if you recall, Karma is the successor of Fisker, which was the Fisker Karma. It was an electric car company that went out of business a few years ago and was purchased by a Chinese manufacturing automotive supply company. I'm not going to even try to pronounce the name, but now it's back and better than ever. They produce them in California, but it's still owned by that company. And these were just two beautiful models. They're stunning, and to me, these are the coolest cars of the entire show. I think I got a clip of the scissor doors as they were coming down. And I mean, the interior is amazing, and obviously they're all electric vehicles, especially these concepts. And so it'll be cool to see if they're able to actually manufacture these and bring them into the market, because I would definitely buy one. I'm not sure what the price range is, considering their Revero is the other car, which is essentially a replacement of the Fisker Karma, starts around $110,000. I imagine the SC1 and SC2 will probably cost a lot more than that, but the Revero is just an updated Fisker Karma with just new headlights and tail lights, and hopefully more reliable this time than the last one. Bollinger Motors also made an appearance at the LA Auto Show. Bollinger is an all-electric auto manufacturer that competes against Tesla. And it has two models. There's the B1 SUV and the B2 pickup truck. They're all made of aluminum, and they feature all-wheel drive and removable body panels similar to like a Jeep Wrangler. Now, I like the idea that there's a normal looking truck. I'm looking at you, Cybertruck. And this one actually looks like a normal truck. It looks kind of like a Humvee to me. It's kind of just a Humvee with an electric engine. I just don't like the price of both of these vehicles. They're both starting at $125,000, which seems a little steep considering everything that you get in these vehicles. It's pretty bare bones. I'm sure they're great off-road, but it's just $125,000 is a pretty big asking price when you can get a fully equipped Model X for quite a considerable amount less than that. So we'll see how well this company does, but it's cool to see a new competitor in the electric car market, especially from a startup manufacturer. Now, Nissan Sentra was also all new for the 2019 LA Auto Show. It will feature an inline 4-cylinder, 2-liter engine, will deliver 149 horsepower and 145 pound-feet of torque. Nobody here is really looking at horsepower figures. It should get MPG in the mid-30s and is a nice refresh compared to some of the Corolla and Civic competitors. Dodge definitely had a big display at the show. They were featuring the 1320, which is their drag version vehicle of the Scat pack. It pretty much has the same exact engine in 392, but they've taken out the rear seats and they've added some of the drag specific stuff of the Demon on this vehicle, so you're able to get the best quarter mile, which according to tests like 11.7 seconds. Dodge also showed off the 50th anniversary edition of the Challenger, which has like a specific interior and exterior accents and different badges and stuff. Nothing really new, but kind of makes it a little bit more unique. It's cool that this is the first year ever that you can get the wide body Scat pack with a shaker hood, so that's kind of unique. They also showed off the Dodge Charger Hellcat wide body, which is the first time I've seen one. It looks just like what you imagine and just like what the video shows. Nothing really new there, but cool to see the wide body treatment. My favorite was the Dodge Challenger Santa sleigh, which was really cool. I really especially like the emblem with the little reindeer antlers. I thought that was really cool. This is the Dodge Challenger that they show in a lot of the Christmas commercials with Santa sleigh, and really cool. Honestly, I wish I could own this car. If I had extra money and build one like this, that would be awesome because it looks really cool and it matches really well. Now, probably for the biggest unveiling of the entire show, it's the 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E all-electric SUV. It comes in several different models. There's the Select, which will have an EPA estimate of 230 miles and have 0 to 60 in the mid 5-second range. It will come with all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. You'll have the Premium, which will have a mid 5-second 0 to 60. You'll have a GT model, which will be the most powerful and can do a 0 to 60 in the mid 3-second range. So that's competing with the Tesla Model Y. So that will probably be the range topping and the one that everybody looks towards. But the one that's probably going to sell the most is the Select or the Premium model, which has a 300-mile range. Honestly, I think the Mustang SUV looks awesome. I really like it. I don't like the name though. I wish they had gone with a different name so that they wouldn't tarnish the Mustang fans. I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to evoke some sort of passion for this vehicle, and I think there's enough of that with the figures that they displayed. But let's take a look at the unveiling when we were there.
Meet the latest addition to the Ford Mustang stable, the all-electric Ford Mustang Mach-E. 55 years after we redefined freedom with the original Mustang, Ford has done it again. The design of the all-new Mach-E is unmistakably Mustang, and it goes like hell to deliver pure Mustang acceleration. But this time, with 4 doors and more room for your gear. It becomes a lot smarter too. Over-the-air updates will upgrade the Mach-E over time with features like autonomous driving, additional drive modes, and even performance boost.
Then of course there's the iconic Shelby GT500, which boasts 760 horsepower, 625 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in a little over 3 seconds. So that car starts around 73,000. That was the first time I'd seen it in person. Very cool, but the 0 to 60 time is very similar to the Mustang Mach-E SUV. So there's probably no cross-selling there. You know, somebody who's going for a Shelby GT500 is not going to go for the Mustang Mach-E, but you know, just to give you kind of a comparison of the different power, it's pretty crazy what they could do with electric. That, you know, this is the GT500. It's so iconic, and the 0 to 60 is pretty much the same. They really had the old GT40 that competed in Le Mans. Now this one had been restored over the years, and there's been changes made, and it wasn't driven by Ken Miles, but they also had the Ford GT there as well, which was cool to see the 2 cars side by side, kind of a comparison of the old and new. They also had the Ford Escape there. That's the new one. It's pretty cool looking. It's very European style, and that's exactly what they were going towards. It almost looks kind of like a sedan in a way, but I think it'll be a good seller. I mean, it's updated. The interior is pretty nice. I don't see why it wouldn't be one of the best sellers for Ford. Subaru had a pretty cool and interactive display. They had this giant screen, and that's how they unveiled their new Outback, which is really kind of a refresh, but the interior has changed a lot. They have a nice big screen. I think it's going to sell well, just like any other SUV. Porsche had its Taycan there, which was, or however, Taycan, I don't know how you say it, but that car was really cool to see. That thing is a beast. It has, you know, 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds, but the starting price is around 103,000, and that's for the slower model. The more expensive one that does that 0 to 60 is like 180,000, so it's just ridiculous. Moving on to day 2, we kind of ran into this Bugatti Lego version, Chiron, and it was really cool because everything in this car is Legos. The only thing that's not is the wheels, the emblem, and the steering wheel mechanism, and so it's crazy they were able to actually get this car moving at 20 miles per hour. I did end up test driving some cars during the show. One of those was the Audi e-tron. Now, if you recall, this is the all-electric SUV from Audi, and it's different because it doesn't really have the same kind of platform as a lot of other electric vehicles, and I liked it, and it's more like a regular naturally aspirated car, but just happens to have an electric powertrain versus internal
Audi
combustion.
wanted to make an electric vehicle that is still an Audi. So interiors are very similar to the A6, A7, A8. The 2 new screens, you can think of these as your hardware control. This one is your software controls. 2nd generation virtual cockpit, heads-up display.
And how much is the base price for the e-tron?
Base price, so Premium Plus starts at 74,800, Prestige like this one 81. I believe this one is about 85,000 with
some extra.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. Okay. That's kind of weird. No engine sound.
No engine sound, and the difference with the ICE vehicles is that when you release the brake, the car doesn't lift forward by itself, but you have to tap on the accelerator to get it going.
That's usually when I pull out a parking spot, I just let off the brake and it moves.
Here you actually have to give some input. So we're gonna stay here on the right lane. We're actually pretty much gonna follow the other e-tron.
There's only one gear, so what are the paddle shifters?
For the recuperation.
Oh, okay.
So you can select different different levels of energy recuperation. If you like downshift, you're gonna recuperate more. So when you lift off the accelerator, the car is gonna. And you can also access the boost mode, which is usually a good place where to do it. You just put one more time towards yourself, and you go there, go all the way. You can feel that there is like a small D10. Like a small
little
step
click.
that you go past it. And that gives you access to it. And I have to say, it's a pretty nice acceleration.
No, it's very interesting.
Official 0-60 is 5.5 seconds.
Are they making like a R version or anything?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. As of right now, this is the only battery that you can choose from. For the new model that is coming out, the e-tron GT. In Europe, they're gonna have two different battery sizes: 75 kilowatt hour and 85 kilowatt hour, and 95 like this one.
Okay. Now, I did also test drive the Model X. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to film the Model X of me filming and driving because of their rules. So I just cut to this one clip of me in Ludicrous Plus mode as the passenger and feeling that acceleration. Nothing new with the Model X, but just still cool to see because I'd never been in one before. Holy shit! Whoa! Whoa! That is crazy. And that was the LA Auto Show. I sat in the NSX as well, which was a pretty cool experience. Honestly, it was a thrilling experience. I really loved the show, and there were a lot of cool cars there. If you guys ever have the opportunity to go to one of these big shows, I would definitely recommend it. I was like a kid in a candy store, and a huge thanks to my girlfriend for getting me this gift. But I really had a great time. I hope you guys had some cool cars that you saw, but let me know which ones are your favorites. Well, there you have it, boys and girls. It is the end of the 2019 LA Auto Show. It has been a very exciting past 2 days, so I want to give a huge thanks to my girlfriend.
Hi, everyone.
For getting me this gift, because it's like a once-in-a-lifetime type of thing. I've always wanted to go to one of these auto shows, and she made the dream come true, so huge thanks to her. Hopefully you guys enjoyed some of the amazing cars at this show. I think the ones that come to mind for me are like the Mustang Mach-E, electric SUV, and the Corvette. That was the first time I saw it in person, so it was super exciting to see that one because it's just an amazing car. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What's your favorite car? What car do you have more questions about? What car would you like to see on this channel? Because that'd be very exciting as well. But until next time, I hope you like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to find me on Instagram at @Schwazy_. And I will catch you all in the next video. Take care. Have a wonderful day.